We are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Millennial and Mom. How's everybody doing today? Doing pretty good. Hope you all are too.
Just wait for some people. I don't know what's on.
That's okay. It's always about the replay. You always do that.
I
Silly.
do. Yeah.
Cause what?
I don't know what I was gonna say.
You never do.
It's funny. We'll just wait for some people to hop on.
All right.
Whew, that was a struggle.
Didn't have to be. Didn't have to be a struggle. So,
But I will give some kudos to you because it does seem like you're pretty good now with the StreamYard thing.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, you turned it on by yourself. You put the banner on by yourself.
What else?
That's pretty impressive.
I guess. You say so.
I know so.
Okay.
But
Thanks
you're
for the
missing
kudos.
one thing.
What's that?
You didn't go back to the comments.
Oh no.
You know how to do it.
Why you said it? Put me on front street. You didn't go back to the comments. You could just been like that on the,
No.
Hi, my life. Hello. Thank you for joining. Hi, Sharon. Thank you so much for joining us.
How are you guys doing?
Exactly. It's still the same thing. Now, I forgot how to put the thing up for if people want to come in the studio.
So you press
the invite thing, and
copy.
that's right.
X.
Oh,
no. Now I don't know what you did right here.
I exited to the screen.
Space or Control V.
Whatever. Still. But I'm excited.
What are you excited about?
To be on live on a Sunday afternoon, West Coast.
Talking about
Sunday evening, I guess.
Married at First
East
Sight.
Coast. And if anyone joining live doesn't know, if you want to be part of the show, but you don't want to show your face or whatever, you can always click the StreamYard link, and there's the option to show your face or not show your face and just comment through there. So it's simple.
But now this is our first sip and chat. It
It
didn't
is.
go the way I would envision it because I was thinking mimosas, but we didn't get that far. So, Mom, what did you bring?
I brought an unsweetened tea. That's what I brought. Not sponsored.
Why would it be sponsored?
Hey, you never know. One day we could be sponsored.
True.
That's why. So, anyway, so yes.
You have to ask me.
Oh, what did you bring?
Me? Thank you for asking. A Sprite.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes, we did spring forward in our time zone. We did spring forward. I actually spring forward yesterday afternoon, so I wouldn't forget to do it. So it's what, 3:33 here on the West Coast. So,
But you're the only person who I knew actually do that very early.
well,
Not before they go to bed, just in afternoon time.
why not? So, but anyways, so what did you think about the episode? You want to talk about the episode, or you want to wait for people to?
We can start talking about the episode.
Okay.
What did I think about it? Not much. I thought it was interesting. I think maybe this might have been a consensus with everyone who watches it and the people on the YouTube streets that Dr. Viviana's task was not really needed.
Well, but
for some of the couples this episode.
But it's been from watching the show for a very long time, and especially with Dr. Viviana, her thing is to bring that type of task to the show because that's what her specialty.
Well, from someone who always thought that being a sex therapist was really cool, didn't know you ever knew that, but now you do. When I took classes in college, everything doesn't have to be about getting right to the point of sex. It can be about different things to bring intimacy, i.e. the yoga, who's always for the struggling couples.
Always.
So maybe she could have brought something else, especially for Mark and Lindsay, because they could have probably learned how to connect on a different level.
You know what? That's true because you know what? Yes, the couples who, let me phrase it, couples are married, they, are expected, I should say, in the sense to have some sort of intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, what was in the box this time, I thought was very different than usual. Like, S&M toys and
Now,
egg toys and
Do you think it was interesting because that's maybe something that she thought that they would want to do, or interesting to be like a draw dropper to the audience?
Oh, to both take them out for the audience and to take them out their comfort zone. But one thing I will say about this particular task with Dr. Viviana is, even though you want the couples to work on their intimacy, do I think that having a sex box or whatever box is necessary? I don't, because if they're connecting, eventually I could see them leading to intimacy, but I don't feel like they should have to be like, oh, here's this box, why don't you try it? I know it's like kind of like a nudge to help those who maybe aren't necessarily connect, but I don't know. For Mark and Lindsay, I don't think that they're struggling for real. I think that, oh, hold on, you guys. Sorry about that. I don't think that Mark is as attracted to Lindsay anymore, honestly. I don't. And I think that him pulling back in his intimacy is okay, because, you just don't like how, well, he doesn't care for how she's, projecting herself together around the couples, maybe even off screen, because if the way that Lindsay is talking about him off screen, like on After Party, imagine what she's talking about off camera at home. Imagine that. So why try to push that type of intimacy with him if he wants to pull back to learn more about her? For her, she's just like, telling her friend, I had to pull up my vibrator. I mean, so what? I don't think that was necessary. And then for Steve and Noi, yes, there seemed to be the more connected couple on the intimacy thing. They didn't get a box. They got different other forms of affirmations to do and with each other, stuff like that. And then for the couples who are struggling, and they always seem to do the chakra yoga to get them more connected. I'm like, why? You can see them struggling. Like, they don't need, to me, that type of intimacy push. They need a more of a counseling push to see what the issue is.
So what do you think Dr. Viviana should have done that in her role?
Again, maybe sit down with them individually to see where maybe the disconnect is. Because just because you're on this show, that doesn't mean you're going to be that couple. And if you're not that couple, if you're not getting along like Michael and Jasmina or other couples previously, then, doing yoga and having them connect and look in your eyes and just, different little things to try. If there's not a connect, there's not a connect. You know what I mean? Like, if for Jasmina, and first of all, her attitude is over the top.
It's staked now. I really wanted to like Jasmina so much.
And if you wanted to, like, I can see there's some type of like a small spark, but how can you get over the hump of a spark if someone's constantly like, watch your tone, watch this, watch that? I mean, of course, we don't know what's going on off camera, but on camera, like, to me, it's the opposite. It's the complete opposite. I can see where Michael could get frustrated with her talking to him, because she does. Yes, you are a teacher. And I said this in the beginning. Like, she's talking to him at like the preschool teacher that she is. Can you imagine her talking to the kids, or even your children, nieces, nephews, grandchildren, like that? Always like, watch your tone, I mean, come on. Who wants to be intimate with someone like that? Sharon says, do you think
full intimacy
at 3 weeks might be too soon? I think it's too soon. I do. If you don't have a spark, some people come on the show and naturally have that spark, that lust. It's a lust spark off top, like a Lindsay. She's, to me, just more lustful than whatever. And Noi is also a lustful off top. But everyone else, I think you have to work up to that, because even in the beginning, before the show starts, what do they say? They're married couples now, so whatever happens, happens. But yet going 2-3 weeks in, when they come home, it's like, oh, here's this sex box, or here's the chakra yogurt. Yogurt. I keep saying that. I must want some, yogurt. So hold on. I don't know why that keeps popping up. Hold on, you guys. Sorry.
Because you keep clicking it.
Oh, okay. I agree. Okay.
But I don't think it should be required at the 3 week point. It should be whenever they feel like they are ready to do that.
Right.
And like I said before, I feel like the experts follow a script that they do because they probably have to pre-plan everything. And maybe they make some slight adjustments, but everything else I personally think is what they have set out already for them. And I think that they should adjust more
accordingly
to how they are
couples
getting along with each other, because some of those boxes didn't need to be a box for them. That's it was clear for us, and I know it had to be clear for them, but they're like, no, we'll just give it to them because, one, we already have this. Two, it's for the audience to be like, oh my God, give them something to talk about, which is really not beneficial for the couples if they really want them to be a strong couple in the long run. And for us, the viewers, I mean, yeah, maybe it's slightly entertaining because we're talking about it right now.
Yeah.
But really, is it entertaining to the people who are faithful Married at First Sight watchers who really want to see these couples win? Because right now, they're not winning.
Exactly. I agree with you, B. Coleman. I really, truly do. So let's jump to the couples individually.
My life said Jasmine is never wrong.
I saw that, yeah, and she had steak attitude and stuff like that. But so let's jump to the couple of the hour.
Who is that
on this show? Olajuwon of last week, actually. Olajuwon and Katina.
Why are they the couple of the hour? I don't even like him.
Because it's a continuation. Lindsay's a continuation too, but Olajuwon's a continuation because of his comments that he made the previous week and into this week, is that Katina is lazy, and these aren't wife standards, and all kind of stuff that he was making. She works from home and this and that, and he just not, maybe he's not attracted or stuff like that. Kind of like putting her down and making her cry, and just the way that he's presenting his information. Because he's like, I work at night. He's like, well, what do you really do? I see you're supposed to be working during the day, but what do you really do?
He would hate me. He really would.
Well, because you don't cook.
He would hate me, and I would hate him too.
But you know what though? Like Pastor Cal said previously, like you didn't write all that stuff on your paperwork that you wanted a woman that would cook and clean and this and that, right? So why would you have expectations of your wife now to do that? But here's the thing.
Maybe in his brain and I'm just saying maybe he's thinking like, this is what a traditional woman should do. So if she is coming on this show, this is something that should already be a standard anyways. But if it's not a standard, he's going to, once again, in my opinion, tear her down, because that's what he's doing slowly. And I'm just like, Sir Isaac, you have nothing to talk about because you have flaws within you too.
Yeah, and you know what?
And just try to like his friend said, try to rebuild her. But Katina, she's not really budging. I mean, she's trying. What she do? She got some candy.
Well, that's after the fact. Yeah,
she's trying, but I don't feel like she's gonna budge because that's not something that she really wants to do. And if that's something that he really wants her to do, like maybe they should work together with it instead of putting expectation on her just to do it and then make her feel bad when he decided to clean the floor.
Yeah,
he would hate me.
He was taking on a whole bunch of things. But let me say something again, and this may be an unpopular opinion. I understood his point of what he would like in a woman, not what he wants, what he would like in a woman, because everyone grew up differently. Everyone grew up doing different things, different expectations, stuff like that. Okay, you could come back. I saw you in there. Just come back when you have a chance. But, you don't necessarily have to be someone from the 30s, 40s, 50s and beyond, because I'm the type of me. That's what I do naturally. I cook, I clean, stuff like that. But that's work. But that's just what I do. Yes, I was raised that way, but I continued on with that. I did. But everyone is not like that. So he shouldn't have. The way he's talking to her, though, the way he's putting her down
is disrespectful.
Is very disrespectful. So his point is lost in
translation.
Exactly, is lost in translation, and that's the issue. But him calling her lazy, stuff like that. She works from home. Okay, so how come you can't split it? Let me read some of these comments about that. Before he should have asked her if she has traditional values and what they are. hey, he should have did that before he got married because clearly
he didn't write that on his questionnaire.
Right. Sharon says, this is last episode. Dr. B didn't just, he was talking all over her. Yes, he tends to do that. And Marcus says they won't last long. I agree. They messed that up.
Time.
Yep. Every single time. Hi, Kayla. How are you? You're on, Miss. Hi.
Oh, okay.
We can't hear you.
We heard a little bit.
Yep. Are you on mute? Or you want to come off and we'll try you again.
Testing your speakers on StreamYard. Sounds
okay. Kayla. All right, Kayla, we're going to remove you when you're ready. Come try it again.
I didn't know StreamYard did that.
I didn't either.
Testing on StreamYard.
Okay.
Now it's going to be
Here we go. Hello?
Testing.
Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. How are you?
I am fine. How are you on this Sunday evening? Well, at least on the East Coast.
On the East Coast, yeah. Still afternoon here. We're doing okay. So what do you want to talk about? What do you want to touch on?
First, we haven't heard from you on the YouTube in such a long time. We're happy that you're back.
That's true, but I did do your virtual vacation with you. Where were you, part of the show?
Yeah, it's been a while. I had a lot going on in my house. My daughter's getting married and everything, so I'm trying to get everything together. But thank you. But as far as the show, Elijah Wan, I really, he's that guy that you just want your daughter to run from. He has these ideas of what marriage is all about, and it's horrible. It's horrible. And I just really don't think that she's going to be happy with him. You know, gosh. For the fact that they're that they paired them together, and you know, she's a nice looking girl. It's like he's like caveman, like back in the 50s and the 60s. And I'm just not understanding his mentality for his generation. Like, he has not even talked about, well, that's, if he said, well, that's the way my mom was, that's what I grew up with, I can understand, but that's not it. So I'm really not understanding where he's getting this mentality of what a wife should do.
Right. I agree with that. I don't know. Like I said, I believe that it came out of left field, even with Pastor Cal from the previous episodes. And so, I mean, if that's what you want, that's okay. But don't make to me references as to, if you don't get that, as to, oh, well, then she's lazy and I just can't have a wife this is my standard, stuff like that. You didn't say what your standards were. Again, we talk about that, and we have talked about it many times. These couples that come on here, a lot of them aren't honest from the beginning for what they want. And it comes up very early. And that's part of his issue. On top of that, again, we saw at the reception how his friend said he's going to mold you in the way he wants you to be. Well, that was very telling. But we didn't know it was like this. So if she didn't step up or whatever. So, you know, but I think, you know, all that aside, when Katina went out and did those groceries, I thought they were groceries, but they weren't groceries. It was candy and chips, you know, for the movie night. I was like, okay, girl, that's kind of what he wants, but not really. But at the same time, he was like, oh, you did movie night. So now that's what I'm talking about. That's what I wanted. I'm thinking, so you wanted a movie night in versus going out, which is fine. But so he was okay with candy and chips.
Yeah, that was weird. Like, I didn't even understand. I feel like I totally felt for her when she said, she feel like she's walking on eggshells, like no matter what she does, you know, he's going to be critiquing every little thing. But I feel that she needs to start doing her own critiquing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once she starts really hammering on him about the things that he's not doing, because he's coming across in his mind like he's perfect.
Right. Exactly. You know what? Whatever is going to happen, hopefully next episode, we're going to see that when she's like, take these mics off, because clearly either something happened with her reaching out to her friends or friend on social media, because it's, looking at the phone, because usually that's what that is. So something's going down, and I hope it's not something we've seen in the past where she's reaching out to, an ex or something, but I don't know. We're gonna find out. And a little bit off topic, why do we keep seeing him and Lindsay on the after show? Like nobody else wants to participate. That's what I want to know.
I got that impression. I did get that impression. I was like, because I really don't want to talk to him. Like he is not one of my favorite people. And for the fact that he said even before, this is the first, and I think this could be a factor. I'm not saying it's a stereotype, but the fact that he has never dated a Black girl before, that could be a huge factor in his expectations, because, he's never dated a Black woman before.
That's true. He's never dated one before, but I have a little small issue with that. I mean, I just don't want to know why men would think it would be so much different to date from a Black to white to whatever. Women are women. Now, it depends on how you were raised.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what makes it different.
I think regardless of what color you are, if you're not going to put up with it, you're not going to put up with it. Right. But a lot does have to do with how particular cultures, how they're raised in the home, and she wasn't raised with both parents. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't think so either. And he keeps saying like, my mom is Irish. My mom is Irish. Okay. Well, if you wanted someone Irish and nothing to anyone Irish, maybe you should have requested that on your paper too, because clearly you're not asking for what it is that you want in a married at first sight to last forever.
Yeah.
You're not asking for these things, so I don't know. I don't know. I think he's still trying to straddle the line between Isaac and Olajuwon. And it's not working. He's having a real hard time.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So, what do you want to say? Anything else, or move to another couple?
I'm glad he cut his hair.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Because it was me a 2-year-old vibe. You look like you was 2.
Your brother had the haircut. Your brother had the haircut when he was 2.
And going to what you said, like, I don't remember exactly what you said, but how are men like? So, what did you say about dating different women because you think women are women?
Women are women and men are men, but it depends on how you grew up culturally and what it is that you're willing to accept and what not to accept, because there's always a stereotype for each particular race about their men or their women about what they would or what they wouldn't do.
And that's probably why he stayed away from Black women, even though he tried to say a lie that no Black woman liked. Now that's a lie.
That's a lie. That's a lie. What it was how he was approaching them and probably what his expectations of them. And, based on how he was raised or how his mother was, if his mother, had certain expectations or said this is okay, and then he dated a Black girl from a strong, single Black woman whose mother said, you don't let no man tell you XYZ, that's going to make a huge difference.
Right. Yep, I agree. For Dolores, go back to your comment. He should have been truthful before coming on the show. He really should have. Well, they all should have been, but it's always seemed to be like one each season that wasn't truthful about coming on the show about what they want. It just has never failed.
Maybe he felt like if he put that down, he would have got matched. Because maybe someone he was doing it with, like, oh no, don't say that because that might be a little bit too much.
Yeah, but I think he didn't grow up in a 2-parent household either. I don't think he did. I'm almost positive he didn't, but whatever. I don't know. I just think that with their task last week, I think that perhaps they did become a little bit more intimate with all the things that was going on. I think maybe something triggered now. If they went all the way, I don't know.
But that's not going to help them out none.
That's the whole point of this. That's the whole point of why is Dr. Viviana do it. Like you need individual counseling to see where the disconnect is, because you just can't. Of course, they can't necessarily bring people together because that's your segment this week, the sexuality part. That's how I look at it. So
I agree with you.
All right, let's see, Sharon. Since you came from single mom, yeah, that's right. I did read that before.
Go ahead and move to the next couple.
Let's see. Mike and Jasmina. Marquise or Marcus says, I see why Mike's wife can't keep him in. Me too.
Jasmina is annoying. She is driving me crazy. And I was so glad that her girlfriend kind of checked her and was like, oh, really? Jasmina is annoying. And she's that person. You raising your voice. You raising your voice. You'll never get anywhere. Don't act like she's never raised her voice. Like, I can't stand that. That's annoying. She was like, you're raising your voice at me. You can talk to me when you're not raising your voice. What? Exactly. Girl, we in an argument. Stop playing.
Exactly. Like he's in her preschool class. You know what I mean? It's like anything he says, she is critiquing. Oh, well, you didn't have to say it that way. Well, why'd you say it like that? Well, what do you mean? I mean, she might as well. You can't connect to someone like that. Now, this is why, in my opinion, I can see why all her relationships have been long distance. They've never been in the same city because it's easier. It's easier for her not to be one-on-one and have that. I don't think she's ready for that one-on-one. She can't be.
She's not.
She's not open. Well, she says she's open to it. From the outside looking in, you're not open to it. Every little thing is an issue. It's a problem. It's this. And, when Michael, he did lie about the roommates, didn't tell the truth. You lied. I can see. Then I was like, you know what? Maybe I can see why she's saying that. Now, no, I can't.
But now going through the weeks, like, what are you still holding on to?
Who, Jasmina?
Yeah.
She's still holding on to something she heard. She is the opposite of Alyssa in that aspect about the things that you heard from the friends and the family and going from there. I'm not saying she's Alyssa where she's not participating, but in her thought process, like, oh, your friends, your sisters and them said this. So, I'm got to hold back and whatever, So I don't understand her. I just, the distance that she's putting in with Michael, how does she feel like she's going to gain ground, even with their chakra moments and look into the eyes and all this stuff, and she don't want to do tasks and she's rolling her eyes and all this and that. Like, what? I can see Michael actively trying. I think Jasmina is in here for the process. Now, I did read on someone else's page, or maybe it was on Instagram, that said maybe she'll be like a Karen, and it's the Karen of Miles as the weeks go by. She'll fall in love because she's seen what Michael could bring to the table.
That's something I have to think about really quick.
I read that. Did you see that, Kayla?
No, I didn't see that. I just don't. She's annoying. Like, and I really liked her, but I feel that she's that woman that she's very condescending. And unless she has a man that she can tell what to do, how to do, or whatever, like, she likes to emasculate her men. That's the vibe that I'm getting. And if she can't emasculate them, she don't want a strong man. She just wants somebody that'll do her bidding. That's what I get from her.
Yeah, she's I don't know, she's something else. But towards the end of the episode, she started to get like a little friendly. So I want to know what happened to make them friendly, because during the exercises of the yoga and during the exercises of writing things down, and Michael's like, you should write things down. She's like, I don't need to. I want to know, we didn't necessarily see what happened to get her to be so giddy and her pick out his beard and stuff like that.
So she's on camera.
Well, she's always on camera.
She don't want to look too bad. Like, oh, okay, I did this, so let me make it seem like I'm trying.
Too late.
But going back to what you said, going to be like a Karen.
I read that somewhere.
I can't see that.
You can?
I can't. And, I hate to give Karen some kudos because I didn't like Karen either.
I know.
But in a sense, she was kind of trying.
Who?
In a sense.
Karen?
Yes, in a sense. With being that, like, she wasn't as condescending as Jasmina. She checks Michael all the time. Karen didn't really check him like that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but Karen, she was just trying a little bit more. Her vibe was different than Jasmina. You know,
her vibe was different. And Jacob, I agree with you, because remember that was the beginning of COVID. Mm-hmm. And Miles did say at that 6-week check or the 1 month check that if it hadn't been for the extra long weeks, he would have said no. And as far as
right, he did say that.
He did. Yes. So I don't know what turned in that for me. I think that's where those of us who are not necessarily Team Karen's, like, we still don't necessarily see where that turned, you know, but it did somehow. But that's what they're saying about Jasmina. But I don't know. There's just something not right about always seem to be having long distance relationships and male roommates. Like there's a big disconnect with that for me. You know, her condescending, that's just her attitude. We saw that in the beginning.
Yeah.
But let's move on to Steve and Noi. Now, I said in the very beginning, I think Steve had some money to be traveling like that, personally.
You can't travel like that and not have money, so I'm not even understanding why Noi has an issue.
Exactly.
He has money.
I think so too, and I think
it's not think so. It's we know so. What's been coming out slowly and slowly.
I believe Noi's issue is just the fact that
she wants something stable. She wants to know that something's always going to be there and not depleted because of her family background, in my personal opinion.
Well, people's jobs aren't necessarily stable, depends on what you do. But I think she wants to see someone doing a 9 to 5. That's what Noi needs to see. Regardless if you have money in the bank. That's
she don't care about the money in the bank, because if that was the issue, she could care less. I mean, because he even told her, how did he put it? He said, I can make money. So he was saying basically he could be home and make money.
Right.
So, but that's not what she wants. She wants, just like she goes to work, she want to see him go to work.
Right, because I think that makes her comfortable with the stability of him going 9 to 5. Like, okay, we're going to see you when I get home, whatever. But I thought it was kind of funny when she was like, well, if I go to work, then this house won't be clean. I was like, for real, Steve? Like, you can always get a crock pot. Like, it's not that serious. But
he did make a point when he told her, I don't see you helping out cleaning up.
Right.
He made a point.
Right, he did.
And if she's not doing it, I think Noi is very immature.
You know, I was getting ready to say that too. I think she's immature.
How old is she then?
I think Michael's the youngest on the show, so Michael's 29, so everyone is like 29 and over.
Is she like 35?
She's like in her 30s.
Yeah, because Steve is like 37. But I also think that not only is she immature, I think she's insecure.
Yeah.
She's very insecure with relationships.
With herself.
With herself, exactly. And with her, you know, she gets mad easily too. So if you do something that she doesn't like, she's going to constantly get up and go. That's a red flag for me right there. That's how I know that I'm like, oh, she's not ready. She likes the idea of being married. So does Lindsay. Lindsay likes the idea of being married. You know what I'm saying? So Noi wants to have her 3 kids, and she wants to have this and that because I guess everyone else in her family is kind of doing it too. So that's what she wants. But, you know, if you cook the noodles wrong or don't look at something, it's going to be Noodlegate again. I'm like, see.
Yeah. I know someone that was like that when they first got married.
Okay.
And their husband could not tell them if she cooked something wrong in the beginning.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
He had to eat it whether it was good or bad. And I was like, oh, that takes too much effort. I know. I would rather you tell me, don't have me cooking the same thing over and over, something that you really don't like.
Exactly.
So she did all that, and I thought it wasn't even that deep. And I'm like, and then you're going to put it on social media. So me personally, I feel like she didn't give him a chance. Like, at least they could have sat and talked about it when he called her. Answer the phone. But give him a chance before you blast y'all business all over social media. And I just felt that she's very immature. She's stuck on this. Oh, he said he loves me. But I don't think she wants to put the work in.
Right. And for her, I think, like I said, in other videos, she has been in other relationships where she has followed the man to wherever they were. One was in Mexico, one was in England, in London. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just she loves love kind of thing. That's always said about Noe. She loves love and she's ready to settle down and be a mom and all this other stuff. But to come on a show like this, and then because the news weren't done, I mean, seriously, it's not that serious. It just really isn't. Like you said, Kayla, to not answer the phone for 24 hours and then do the social media thing. We've seen these relationships before fall apart on social media. Mm-hmm. And where's the NDA for this anyways? Even though, they shouldn't be on social media at all.
No, I'm sure everything was private because no one knew about it.
Still, it was just ridiculous. And then for her to come back and sit down with Steve was just like, she's like, yeah, I did it. But, you hurt my feelings. Okay. It's like, seriously. Okay. Steve is being very patient, I have to say. He's being very patient. Now, in the beginning, you didn't necessarily, did you care for Steve in the beginning, or what was it about Steve for you?
I don't remember. I don't think it was. And if it was, I apologize because
you realized Steve has something in the back.
Yes, I'm trying to travel or something.
I
work part-time. I do not care.
I tried to tell you that from the beginning. I'm like, Steve is doing something right. But you didn't want to listen like you never do.
I think Steve is a good dude. He makes money. Mm-hmm. I think Steve is ready to settle down, but he wants to settle down with someone that can be adventurous with him. Uh-huh. And so they totally miss that. Like, he wants to be on the road. He needs to be with someone that can work from wherever they're at, and they can, if they're going to work out the van or work out of the car, whatever, and they can see the world. That's really what Steve wants.
Right. I agree with that. I really do. Okay.
And I wouldn't have no problems adjusting to it.
Well, that's after the fact.
But you know what? The experts probably would have thought Noe would be okay with it too, because she has traveled for men. So now it's like, why is it such a big issue?
Because Steve's traveling consists of not necessarily traveling to places, it's traveling to camp, to fish, to hike. She's not into that. That's the difference.
Yeah, he's not. He's in the outdoors. He's not like going from hotel to hotel. That's why he got so much money.
Right. And one of the things before I switch the subject to Lindsay and Mark, when did who gave the body shot? That was Noe, right? She gave Steve a body shot. Mm-hmm. And she's like, "Oh, I never did this before." I was like, "Girl, please."
You are a liar.
Girl, please. What was your brother's name? Sriracha.
And what's her alter ego name?
I forgot, but I was like, no, "You can't even tell me that, girl. You can't even tell me that." Steve didn't believe you. You ready? Like, are you ready? Yeah.
She didn't struggle or nothing.
So I'll let you start off, Mark and Lindsay.
I can't, because remember, I didn't see.
Mark the shark.
I didn't see the.
Well, the beginning was Lindsay talking to her friend about her being sexually frustrated, pretty much, and how Mark is pulled back and this and that. And then she went on, and her friends just kind of like looking at her like, I don't. Lindsay might be different off camera, but I don't think so.
Why would you think that?
I don't know.
No, she's not off camera.
I'm just saying maybe she's different just based off her job, since she's a hospice nurse. So that you have to have a different. Listen,
you worked in settings.
I know.
And people were inappropriate in those settings.
Anyways, but her friend was looking at her crazy, and then with Lindsay talking about her vibrator, I think Lindsay is very inappropriate.
Yeah,
just very inappropriate. And I think that people come on the show. Hey, Chloe, people come on this show and talk about, previous people. Like, oh, I don't like how they portrayed me, whatever. Okay, some of it is production, but when you have personalities like a Lindsay or Elijah / Isaac, I don't think so. or Nelissa. I think they're portraying you the way that it is.
You
They just
get
have
on
more.
topic of
They just have
Alyssa.
more clips of you being ugly. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. But when Dr. V comes over, she's like, yeah, pretty much the sex life is dead and stuff like that. And Dr. Viviana's like, oh, so you think that he wants to continue on with that? Or do you want to continue on with that if you talking like that about your sex life? Just kind of checked her. But I wish she would have checked Olajuwon too, but she really checked Lindsay.
Yes, she did. And Lindsay just looked like a deer in headlights. I was like, good. Somebody finally calls her out. Because she never, I mean, it's not like she's 25.
Correct.
She's in her 30s. By the time you're in your 30s, you know what's appropriate and what's not.
True.
There's a time and place for everything. So yeah, you might feel that way, but like Mark told her, why don't you think before you open your mouth? Like, she doesn't think, and now Viviana has to tell her, that is so inappropriate. That's not nice. Why are you talking like that? And I completely understand, like, I feel like they have opposite, like usually the man is the one that he can go here and have sex with no emotion, but Mark is not like that. It's the opposite. Lindsay don't care what's going on. She just want to get it in. And
Right.
Mark was like, I'm not feeling you today. Get away from me. You got on my nerves. And
Right.
I just feel like she doesn't respect his boundaries at all.
No, she doesn't, and doesn't care who knows it either. She just does not care who knows it. And I when they first got married and she was laying on the bench, stuff like that, I knew that was a problem already. That was a huge problem. Like, you just gonna lay out and be sprawled. Yeah, I guess you could be inebriated, drunk, or whatever at your wedding, whatever. But this was over the top. Again, we don't know each other. I don't know you. You don't know me. I don't know what to think about you just being. You know what I'm saying? And Lindsay has been that way all along. And I've seen another comment somewhere, even on Instagram. Someone said they tried to compare her to Virginia of a few seasons ago.
Oh, yeah.
But they say that the difference is that Lindsay is an alleged functioning drunk. That was the difference.
I don't think they're the same at all.
An alleged. So, like, you can tell the difference between Lindsay, maybe allegedly on and off a drink or two. You know what I'm saying? And I think Marcus, he's not necessarily tired of it. He's exhausted already with it, because you had to deal with that from like day one, 8 minutes in. Like, girl, can you settle down? Like, what is going on? She's always all cuddled up and everything. Again, Alyssa and Lindsay, if you remember, both were previously engaged before the show.
Oh, were they?
Yes. Previously engaged, like, because Alyssa already had 10 wedding dresses.
I remember that.
Right. And I was like, was that for this show or before the show? That was before the show. Both of their fiancés broke it off.
Well, Alyssa was bona fide crazy. She's certified. She's a very narcissist. She's narcissistic. Like, the things that she was doing was horrible. And I just, even to the end, like, she lied to the very, very, very end. Like, she could not acknowledge anything that she did. Right. Usually at the end, when it's over, you kind of like, I thought about it. I could have did some things different. No. She just lied till the very end. And so I feel like with Lindsay, the only good thing about her is that Mark can put her in her place to a certain extent. And she acknowledges that she's inappropriate, but she just don't give a crap.
Yeah, that's the difference. Tell them what you were saying to me about if Mark watches the show back, about Lindsay's inappropriate comment about the mom when she was in the bathroom, stuff like that.
I forgot what I remember.
You're like, if she watches this back, like, why would they still be together? You know what I'm saying? With her being go back home to your mom and this and that, knowing that his mom and his grandma are sick and in different places, in rehab centers and facilities, stuff like that. Like, why would you even think someone you said that to, whether you thought they heard you or not? Because if she said it in the bathroom, she said it out loud elsewhere too, because that's how inappropriate it is. That they want to be intimate with you and want to continue with you, because her thing was she wanted to be wooed. I'm used to being wooed. That's her suggestion. She wants to be wooed. Wooed?
I'm like, who is wooing you?
Oh, she's like, apparently, if he's not gonna do it, she's gonna find somebody to woo her.
But that was the impression that I got. Like, that was kind of like a underhanded threat to him. Like, put this stuff together, because if you can't get it, then I'm gonna get it from someplace else.
Exactly.
If I was Mark, I'd be like, you keep it popping. She's just too much, and I know he doesn't like her like that. Impossible. Well, it's possible.
That's a lot to overcome. I mean, his personality doesn't seem like he wants to. He already told her she was too much.
I think he likes her excitement. I think that's what he likes.
I don't think he likes it anymore. Maybe in the beginning, because what is it, on the van ride to the destination hotel, pulling her back off a laundry wand and stuff like that. I don't know. I think eventually that wears you down too. It wears you down the way
that is exhausting. That's exhausting when you can't go anywhere with someone because you're always on alert, because you never know what's going to come out their mouth, and you never know who they're going to get in an argument by the end of the night, particularly if they have a couple of drinks.
Right.
So that can be exhausting.
Right. And to your question, Sharon, that was on the after party that Lindsay said that Alyssa's still coming around to the apartments talking to couples, and Mark is being friends with Alyssa. I don't like that. I think that they should keep her away from the taping process, whether in taping or not. And if anyone wants to be friends with Alyssa, they could be friends after the fact, because clearly this happened while they were taping, because that to me is a disruption. I think that causes chaos and confusion. So I don't necessarily like that in general. So that's what I think about it.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I mean, she technically could be a friend to them.
She could, but
I don't think it's right, because we know Alyssa, all she wants to do is be on the show.
Yeah.
But she didn't get her way because, what's his name? I forgot his name already. Chris was not here for it. He didn't want to keep being disrespected. And I feel like that's what Mark should do.
Well, Chris got his 1% back, and I was really rooting him to value himself more than 1%, because that was terrible to think about yourself like that. But whatever. But now we could talk about the scene where the men meet up and the women meet up, and they're getting pedicures. And I was surprised that they were actually rating themselves, their marriages, because remember on the Louisiana season,
that was a few seasons
New Orleans season, they did the rating thing, and remember how Brett was like, I'm not rating my marriage, but we already knew he wasn't with her. What's her name? I forgot her name right now. Anyways,
I forget.
The nurse practitioner. Oh,
was it Lindsay?
No, girl, no. I think it was Olivia or something like that. But when Jasmina said, or someone said, would you rate your marriage? Jasmina said, no, not right now. But then someone said, well, what if it was like up at an 8? She goes, would you say yes on decision day? And she said she would say yes. I'm thinking, what? Why would you say yes on decision day if it was an 8? First of all, the 8 would have to come from her, 1. And 2, if you don't like what you see now, what makes you think it's going to progress, to an 8? It's not even at a 1, in my opinion. What are you
talking about? She can say yes, and then a week later they can get divorced.
You know what? I'm tired of these couples.
Like
this. No, it's not working. We can see it's not working.
They can do it all for shows, all for the show.
I guess.
I think they need to. I really believe that they need to vet them a little better. I mean, I know they're filling out the questionnaires, but I think when they do the interviews, they need to have different people interview them. So like if Viviana interviews you and asks you something, give it a couple of days and then let somebody else ask you the same question, but in a different way. I bet you will get different answers.
Yeah, that's the personality quiz test. Yeah, that's true. And you know what? Maybe they ought to do the premarital thing. They know that for example, they know, trademarked by Millennial Mom, they know that they're being picked for the show, but before they even meet, sit down with them, individually counsel them for their expectations going forward to the marriage, and then we see them getting married. Not the bachelor party stuff. They can cut all that out. I don't care about their bachelor and bachelorette parties. I don't care about that. Let's see how they really feel about marriage. Let's see. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, say that they did do that, then what would change after that?
Then that would, but that's talking about what Caitlin is. That's about the vetting process. That's part of the vetting process.
So so this is what you're saying, Mom. You're saying the couples that they vetted and they picked that are going to be set for marriage, they do premarital counseling by themselves just to see where their mind's at now. What if their answers do change? What if they do kind of sway a different way because now they know that they're on the show? Are they still going to be able to go with the process, or are they going to be like, I don't really like your answer anymore, you're kicked out, but now they have to refine someone else who is a match for that person that they were with?
That's pretty good too.
So you can't really do the premarital thing.
I don't know,
because
but they need
to change the dynamic of the show. What they should do, like we say all the time, is when they do get married, they need to really be counseling them.
Yes.
Really be talking to them, catching up with them to see what they are doing. And when something does come up, not just be like, oh yeah, we was watching. Okay, but what were you doing besides watching? You need to actually step in and do something before it just keeps going down the hill. Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, it's for drama for the most part, because sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's exhausting, like Chris.
Right.
And like Alyssa.
This Chris and last Chris.
Yeah. So they need to do something in the now, but they're not going to because it's a TV show.
Okay.
But I think in the beginning, wasn't the first couple of seasons, they got with them early in the process. Like after they got married, and they got with them like within a week's time. Like as soon as they were starting to hit some roadblocks, they can dial into them and, oh, I need some issues. And they're not doing that now. And I think that's a big problem because they need to be dialing in to these couples because, okay, like who was it? It was one couple, even on their honeymoon, they had to talk to somebody because it was getting crazy. I just don't remember so many seasons. I just don't remember who, but I remember somebody on their honeymoon, they wasn't getting along. And I think they should have did that with Alyssa. Definitely with Alyssa, because they knew Alyssa was out of the pocket. And I'm sure the producers kept them like, this girl, she lied about everything.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking that, they need to be on top of them at least within 7 days. Check in, see how things are going, and, go from there. I think, I'm not saying they're going to have better success, but it might give them a better chance starting out the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It still had a 1 to 3 success rate. We're not going to say it's going to be successful because they are getting married.
Taylor's her name.
But I feel like, in my personal opinion, it will make the experts a little bit more credible because they lost all their credibility to me.
Yeah,
whether they want to come on Millennium Mom, we do an interview with them, I'm going to still hold the same energy because that's just how I feel.
It's definitely has changed. They definitely need to revamp. We definitely need to get back to the nitty gritty of how things used to be with the process where the couples were. Now, yes, time has gone on, so there's different ways and different situations, stuff like that. But let's get back to not just for really like on the internet, like clickbait. This is becoming clickbait to watch.
Because they are becoming an evolution to what the reality TV world is now. That's what people want to see. But I think if they went back to how they used to do it, it would be more interesting because sometimes you don't want to see the same thing with the bachelor party. Who are they? I want to see them actually get canceled so we can see who they really are.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I want to see because even the show, the Australia one, they canceled them on a regular basis, on a much more regular basis than this one. So I look at it like the same way they're being counseled on a regular basis, they, they need to counsel these couples like Pastor Cal. I love me some Pastor Cal. Man, it's so fun. I love him. But I feel that he needs to reach out with them and kind of, pull them back and give them some tough love. Because I think if Lindsay could have got some tough love, Alyssa could have got some tough love. I'm not saying Alyssa, it wouldn't have mattered. But at least, if she was she going to get up from Pastor Cal's house? I want to talk about this because that was her MO. She get up as soon as something comes up where she doesn't want to talk about it, then she leaves. And, we all know people like that, once you call them out on their mess, then they walk away.
Right.
But I think with Pastor Cal, he has that demeanor about himself that people respect. And I think that if they allowed him to reach out with the couples on a more frequent basis, I think that would help a lot. And why is it that we don't never see, what's the little lady name?
Dr. Pepper?
Yeah, we hardly see her ever.
Yeah, so, she's coming up though soon. I don't know what exercise is going to be, but she's coming up. And you're right, they haven't showed her like they used to, especially in the beginning.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with that because a couple of times, who was it with Dr. Pepper? And was that the dude that was friends with the girl's best friend and Dr. Pepper called him out on his stuff?
Oh, Zach and Mindy?
Yeah. So I just think, you need more of that because these couples are all over the place. They don't know what they're doing. I mean, between Katina, Elijah, Lindsay, I'm just like annoyed. I'm just like done. Like these people, they need to start all over.
Yeah, they do. And like I said before, I just cannot believe that I thought that I would be outdone by another season of Married at First Sight. And I am outdone. Like I cannot believe that the majority of the couples on here
who are above the age of 30,
except Michael, he's teetering at 29, based on the show, have all these issues. Like individually, they have issues that is like, how did you choose these people for the show? Was it all these? They were the only ones who got on the show, and then you're like, oh yeah, let's match them. Like, how did this work? And I'm sure they'll go on and say, like, there's all this process and this and that, this and that. Okay, I get it, but let's just go the last 3 seasons. Let's go back 3 seasons. This season, last season, and the season before. Chris Mirla Chris. What happened? Like, how did these people make it to this show? I don't get it. So
I don't know. I don't know. I feel bad for Mike because, truth be told, I know as much about Mike as I did in the beginning. Because was Jasmina, who's he married to? Katina or Jasmina?
Jasmina.
Because she's mean.
I can't tell. I mean, every time he want to talk, she tells him to shut up, more or less. So I never know. I still don't know much about him, and I feel bad. He said that he comes from a Haitian background, and I said, oh, that's why she thinks that he's shouting at her. That's how they communicate. My in-laws, my ex-husband was half Haitian. His side of the family, that's how they communicate. Because I remember when I met him, I was like, are they arguing? What is going on? He said, oh no, they're just talking about the game. That's just how it is.
I know. I have a Haitian friend too, and he's loud, and people consider him over the top, but that's just who he is. That's his personality.
That's part of the culture. That's how they express themselves. So she needs to understand that. And, that part of it I didn't like, because if you're trying to understand your mate, then you need to understand his culture and where he comes from. And, that's just how they are. So I understood that. I was like, oh, he's Haitian. That's why he talks like that. But at the same time, every time he wants to say something, she tell him to shut up. So he don't know what he could say. And I feel bad because I know hardly anything about him.
Right. Well, her family is Jamaican. So, I mean, honestly, it's a cultural thing on each side, but it's still, like you said in the beginning, and maybe other people said too, it was a trauma bonding kind of thing based off their losses, things like that they grew up with and around. And I believe that Michael is more closed off because his trauma was back to back to back, versus I believe Jasmina's trauma is from parents of divorce, things like that. You know what I'm saying? Michael's is actually from like losing someone permanently through death, And I still say Jasmina wants to be the end all be all, center of attention, my way, highway.
Yes.
That's it. I don't think anyone, even a woman, can talk to Jasmina and she was like looking at him like, because when her friend said that, you do the same thing, she's like, no, I don't. No, I mean, we don't even know you, Jasmina, and we see this. We don't even know you. And that's exactly what you do. So even Jasmina, if you're watching, I appreciate that you came on Married at First Sight, but I don't think that this is the show for you, girl. I just don't think so. I don't like watching you. I think you're dry, and I think the relationship is boring, personally. And you know why it's boring? Because Michael can't communicate. He can't say nothing for us to know anything about what's going on. You're boring. You've been boring since the wedding, and you're still boring.
You're sorry them anyway.
She's just a pretty face. I just look at it.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Jacob said that he's Haitian. He don't communicate that way. Jacob, you're just one of the quiet ones.
Now that's true. Jeffy was not loud either. You're right. He wasn't.
Yeah, Jeffy wasn't loud. Jeffy was on a quiet. He was on a quiet side. And there are those that aren't on the quiet side, but I'm just saying, as a whole, culturally, they're just. I don't look at that as a negative. I just look at that as being passionate. It's just a cultural thing, and it's okay. All cultures have a different way of communicating, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you just have to, if you're going to marry someone of a different culture, you have to be accepting of all of it. You can't just say, oh, I want to be, okay, I'm with him, even though this was marriage at first sight. But she knows of what the culture is. And everyone always talks about how, Jamaicans are hot. It's a stereotype, but Jamaicans are hot-blooded people and so forth and so on. It's a cultural thing. Yes. So I'm sure he's willing to accept her culture. She should be willing to accept his.
Right. And remember, they welcomed her in very nicely. They gave her a little pin at the wedding, said, moms are watching over you too, stuff like that. I guess none of that worked. Whatever she heard, he can, whatever his sister said, she was like, oh, that's what it is. So she just can't get past that. But I don't know. I just think that I just kind of curious as to why someone like a Jasmina would come on the show with those type of expectations. But going back to Sharon's question, remember Jasmina's stepdad said, don't let her boss you around. Not only did her stepdad say that, Lindsay's dad said that about Lindsay. Listen, your kids. Your kids, and that's true. And it's like, what made you sign up for the show?
What would you say about me? Well, I'm curious now.
Well, I wouldn't want anybody to boss you around, but I'm just saying you don't have that type of personality that Jasmine and Lindsay has.
So what would you say about me, though? I mean, I know what you say about one.
About your brother. Well, he's different. He's your brother.
I mean, my future son-in-law, they've been friends for years, but I did let him know, look, you know how she is. Don't be letting her boss you around or whatever. She can be kind of bossy, but you already know that because they've been friends for a while. So I can only imagine meeting someone for the first time and marrying them, and you don't know any of that. So the family was more or less trying to give them a heads up with how to handle that. But Jasmine, a girlfriend, I think she when she told Jasmina, yeah, okay, I don't do that. Yeah, you do. I don't do that. And her girlfriend was like, yes, you do.
Jasmina is such in denial about the things that she says and does. She just no. She's just in denial. And again, when you're strangers, every little thing, every little nuance is on 1,000. Because like, oh, why you hold your fork like that? Why you chew like that? Why you stuff like that? Because you notice it because you're a stranger. But she's just not, in my opinion, putting the effort of trying, at least on camera, well, even off camera, because it's not showing.
Yeah.
That she wants to have full communication with him because you're not interested. When you're not interested in somebody, you don't go the extra mile. You just don't.
And she's not attracted to him.
So, which is sad because I thought they would have made a nice couple. You can tell that Michael has to be pulled out of a shell. That's obvious. We can see that. His sisters didn't have to tell us that. We can see it. But, why would he want to come out of his shell if she's
putting him down?
Browbeating him. That's what I call it. It's browbeating.
Oh, I don't know what that means.
It is from the 70s. So, but going back to you, what would I tell him in general? I'm always a mama bear.
Not you, about me.
Oh, your personality? Your personality is as is. That you don't cook, don't expect nothing, expect the Hello Fresh box.
Not that part. Who I am as a person.
Oh, my
like,
bad.
oh, she's bossy.
Oh no, you're not bossy. No. You are. You're
quiet.
Nice. You're quiet. You're soft spoken, stuff like that. But don't expect her to cook. That's in the top 3.
I think somebody should have told Elijah Wan that about it's like she don't cook, she don't this, she don't do that.
You have a career, you got your degree, you got everything else, but if you're looking for something domestic, you're not the one. That's all I gotta say.
That's okay, because there's a lot of men out here that'll cook.
That's right.
It's okay.
That's right. But it's not like you're willing not to learn. I mean, you can follow instructions to a point. But
if I were to do it again, I'd get somebody. I do like my mom. The second time when my mom was married to my dad, she did all the cooking, cooked rolls from scratch. The next time she got married, she cooks nothing. I asked her, I said, Mom, what's the recipe for your yeast rolls? She was like, girl, I don't cook no more. I don't know. So
like a what? A roll.
So it's okay. Get somebody that does the cooking and you'll be fine. But somebody gotta cook though.
That's true. Somebody gotta cook. So
we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So what do you think coming up for the next episode before we let everybody go? Did you see the previews?
No, I didn't see the previews.
You didn't? Okay, that's where like I said, Katina is telling the producing everybody to take the mics off.
Hold the telephone. You keep talking. Let me look at something really quick.
Okay, to turn the mics off. And so she's going in with Olajuwon. Lindsay is at it again. Stephen Noy is back being chatty. And really that's all that we saw. And some other things that's upcoming as the season progresses. But that's really about it.
So are they supposed to... Don't they go away? Are they supposed to be going away this week or probably in the next week?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But it looks like I think next week is their 1 month anniversary. So they're going to celebrate it. Now, whether they go somewhere or not I don't know.
Oh, that 1 month thing is so boring. It's like boring.
Honestly, they don't have to. MAFS producers, we don't need 2-hour episodes. Everything could be done in an hour. Thank you.
Maybe hour 30.
Maybe. But there's nothing happening on this season. The only thing happening is Lindsay and Mark, really.
Mm-hmm.
That's really low. And a little bit of Olajuwon, Katina, Jasmina, whoever.
Olajuwon and Katina.
Yeah. But
I didn't know Katina is a food blogger. Oh, so that makes sense. That's why she out eating all the time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
So, but Elijah, listen, if you know how to cook, go ahead and cook something.
That's not what you want to do.
He should have said that. He should have said it. So, or they could do half and half,
That's not what you want to do.
I also read that it said Elijah wants Steve.
Yeah, Steve is everything that he wants. Cook. He got some money on his side. He's perfect.
There you go. Get outside. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if him and Lindsay hook up. That would not surprise me at all.
Olajuwon and Lindsay?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I
Why?
heard that.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
They're Instagram friends. They're always on the after party together. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I mean, what's the name? What was it last season? When was it last season when what's the name hooked up with the other one?
Mirla and what's his name?
Johnny. Yeah, they were real good friends. Real good friends. That was a connection I didn't see at all.
Yeah, I didn't see that one either.
Yeah. I don't know. I was disappointed with Johnny, even though, I'm still going through what I'm going through. But that Johnny thing, man, I was very disappointed in his whole attitude. He just blamed her for all his insecurities.
Mm-hmm. His life troubles.
Exactly. So, yeah, no.
You're the reason my dad's not coming. No.
Right.
No.
So, all right. Well, we're not going to keep everybody because it wasn't too much really to this episode. I'm looking forward to see what really jumped off with Katina and Olajuwon. Was she on social media like a Britney?
It was nothing, and he just blew it out of proportion because that's not what he wants his women to do.
Women? That's Isaac. Woman is Olajuwon.
Oh, excuse me. Anyways,
yeah.
She probably said, "I have had enough of you. I am done. That is one put down too many." And she probably was like, "I'm tired of being cute for cameras. I'm out of here."
Yeah, we gonna see. I'm interested in knowing, but they could go ahead and wrap this season up too. I think
they
we've
can.
seen enough.
It's been all long now.
And before we let everyone go one more time, I think they need a little longer stretches of time because clearly they keep putting them out when one stops, seems like the next one starts within the next 6 weeks after the other, which means they're taping on top of each other.
Yeah.
So the experts can't be there to do counseling or one-on-one. They have to come in on their segments because they're doing other shows.
We said this already.
I know. So that's part of the issue in my opinion.
They're like back to back to back. And I don't know if they're using this COVID thing as an excuse, which, it could be, I don't know, but that's why I usually don't turn it on till they're like 45 minutes or an hour in, and then I can fast forward through the commercials.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah, it is. So, all right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Kayla. It's good to see you again.
Oh, good to see y'all. Keeping up with you, and y'all looking good. I like the background with the little notes in the back behind you.
Thank you.
I love that.
Thank you so much.
All right. Yes. All right. You guys have a good week. We will see you either on Thursday or Sunday.
Okay. Y'all enjoy your week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good night.